Okay, so let's pick up here. So I went through all of the steps. I got my landing page exactly like I wanted it. I went to the landing page spec. I said, give me a 3-step, 3-phase implementation plan. I did it. This is the end result here. I think it's running. Let me just show you what the end result looks like. So here's the end result here. This is a book. You can see that's the menu that I'm not crazy about. But you can see it has all the micro interactions here. The links work. So I just went through one step at a time to build out this site. So now the site is built. Site is built. The copy, the content is in there. So the question then becomes, what now? What do we do? What do we do with this? What do we do with this now? I just realized I'm going to have to fix that about Dr. Sarah Lee. I didn't recognize that before. I'm going to need to change this to 2025. Okay. Minimize this. All right, so now that we have the site exactly like we want it, like I said, the first thing that you're going to want to do, let's stop this, Control C. We're going to stop it. After we stop it, what we're going to do is I'm going to type clear. And what you're going to do is you're going to do npm run build. And I fully expect there to be some problems. You should do this, like I said, periodically. It's already telling me here that I should install the Sharp package. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And looks like we have a few, not a lot, but a couple. So let's go ahead and get this prepared to deploy. I'm going to copy everything over here. And I'm going to say install and configure Sharp and fix all of the build problems. And what you'll notice is I haven't done anything with .env. I haven't done any logins or anything like that. I'm just getting the landing page together for right now. I am Claude 3.7 Sonnet Thinking. I'm going to stay in there. Okay, I think it finished. Looks like it installed Sharp. It's trying, I think it tried to do a build on its own over here. Let me clear this over here and let me run it npm run build. Okay, I don't see it. Now it says creating an optimized production build. That's because we installed Sharp over here. And now let's let it go through and do its thing. Invalid URL. That doesn't make me feel good here. These invalid URLs here. Okay, so it looks like it's mostly finished. I'm gonna give it one more go here. Push this back over the chat. Please look at these errors and fix for me. Alright, so I copied all of this, pushed it into the Cascade chat window. The build does not look clean. These are, it looks like it's pointing to images, which doesn't really concern me that much, to be honest, but I want a clean build before I try to deploy this. Okay, so it is gone through the second time. I'm going to do clear down here. Clear. And now I'm going to try again, npm run build. It's optimized. I am optimistic. Okay, this is looking good. Okay, beautiful. So this is a clean build. Now that I have a clean build, I want to take this all the way through. By the way, just something, before we go any further, let me just call out a couple of things here. Number one, this is going to go into your GitHub. I'll show you, we'll create a GitHub for it in a second. So what I'd recommend that you do is, let me find it here, is tell it to create right here. I'm going to put this into GitHub. I need a really good readme.md file. And let it go through. In fact, Gemini might be the best model to do this. After you've gone through your first cut, you have your UI where you want it to be. You have a clean build. Then tell it, I'm going to put this into GitHub. I need a really good README file here. Use the Gemini 2.5 Pro model or whatever model you want, and then let it create a good README for you. So this is mine over here. Let me open in preview. So that's my README file here. For yours, it's obviously will be different, but this is my README right here. So it's done the project structure, how to deploy it, key features, etc., etc. So this is mine. These links down here are bad, but we can fix all of that later. But I did want to tell you that you want to tell it to create a good README. And I like to tell it to include visuals and all that stuff as well. Okay, fine. Now let's go let's go ahead and get ready to promote this. So actually, before I do that, there's one last thing I need to show you here. And this is important because we're about to push this out to GitHub, and we're going to deploy it so that it's live out on the internet. So the first thing that you do is you go to this folder here, Next, and this .next folder. This is your cache folder. This is the folder where when the server is running, it's pulling from this directory right here. So every time you start the server, it's going to use the existing cache or create the cache. We don't need this. We don't need to put this into GitHub. So I'm going to do a delete here to get rid of this right here. Move to recycle bin. The other thing as well, when you did npm install, what it did is it went to package.json, and it said this is all of the code that we're going to need to run this app here. And every time you installed something or did something or prompted it and told it, hey, I want to use 21st.dev and all of this stuff, then it just went here and updated all of these dependencies in package.json. So when you do npm install goes to this file here, and it loads all of these packages here. And it loads them in this directory called node modules. Now, these node modules here, this is all of your core code. It's generated when you do npm install. You can delete this directory and recreate it anytime. Therefore, it's no reason to keep it in here when you're ready to deploy it. So I'm going to do delete with this. I can delete this as well, and I can always bring this back when I'm ready. So the very first time, and you see how long it's taking to delete that directory because it's huge. In fact, it won't even fit into GitHub. All right, so now that I have this, and lastly, and this is important, you want to make sure that you don't have your passwords or anything like that the first time in here. So I have env.sample, but you'll notice that I don't have any passwords or anything in here for the first time. Okay, so I want it to be clear about that. Go back to the preview README. Last thing, you want to make sure, I'm looking over here, I see these red 9+. I don't know why it's telling me I have a bunch of problems over here. That is concerning me. I am probably going to want to fix that before I push that out. In fact, I am gonna do that. What I was gonna tell you is you want to click Accept All down here so that you can save all of your files before you push them out. When I do Accept All, oh, I know why. I know exactly why. It's because I deleted the cache. When I deleted the cache, that's why these errors came about. So we can ignore that. That's fine. We'll find out here shortly. All right, so now that I have this for the first time, this is for the first time only, now I'm going to go back over here to my GitHub, and I'm going to create a GitHub account. I'm going to go to Repositories, and in Repositories, I'm going to do New, and I'm going to name my repository Teaching and Learning with AI. That's what I'm going to name mine. I'm going to keep it public for now. You can always change it. Okay. Book on Teaching and Learning with AI as the description. I'm going to add a README. Okay, I'm going to add a README. I probably should add a license, but I'm not. And I'm going to do Create Repository. Now I have my repository here. All right, so now what I want to do now is I want to push all of my files into this repository here. I'll push all my files into this repository. So let me find my folder. This is my Windsurf folder here. This is all of my components. This is my app. I deleted .next and I deleted node modules. So now that I have this, I'm going to go to Add Files, Upload Files, and I should be able to just copy and paste everything. Copy and paste everything in here. So this is what I do. It's a limit of 100 files that you can put in at once. So I start with everything in the core directory here. Let me drop those over. That's 13 files. It's going to push in. So now I have 13 files. Now I'm going to push over types, styles. I'm going to skip over research. And I'm going to try public and modules. So I'll do these 4 next, see if I can, how many that's going to pull in. 26, I don't know how many. I probably got space for a few more. I can move over. Maybe I'll try libs and lib. I hate that. Those should probably be 1. But I'll leave that alone for now. That's 9 more files. Okay, that's fine. That's enough for right now. I'm going to go down here, commit these. And I realize this is the long way. There's a shortcut I'll show you later. But for the first time, I like to manually go in and push out my files. That way I have total control over everything. So this is most of it. I'm not finished because there's more files that I haven't loaded. You notice that every time that it does a commit, it's going to hash all of the files and give you a unique hash for that commit. So I'm going to go back out here to add files, upload files again. Add files, upload files. Let me go back out here. I'm going to add my docs, my components, and I don't need backup right now. This is 81 files. So this is going to be a separate system. Okay, let all of these load. Okay, I'm going to commit this. I want everything, all of my files, except for .next, node modules, and anything that has a password in there. I don't want any of those to be loaded. And again, add files, upload files. And the one that's going to be a pain is always going to be the app. I don't need backup, honestly, but app is always going to be a problem. So I'm going to show you what I do. So I'm going to move this over here. It's 50 files. Something went wrong. We can't process this file. And it's going to be in app API off. app API auth. So I'm going to do this. First, I'm going to cancel this here, app API auth. Then I'm going to come back over here, app API auth. I'm going to delete this, delete.md. I don't need that. I'm going to go into ... next auth. I'm going to delete me. And this route file right here, it's a little bit of a pain, but I'm just going to move this to my desktop for right now. I'm going to move route to my desktop for right now. Go back to my Windsurf projects. Now if I take app, where you at? Right here. Now if I take app and move app over, it should load everything. Should load everything. Great. Okay. I'm going to go in, commit these changes. And now that I've committed these changes, now I'm going to go back and undo what I just did. Let me go back to desktop now. There's the route. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut route from right here. Cut route. I'm going to go back into app, API, auth, next auth, and I'm going to paste it back in here. Okay, so now it's pasted in here. So I'm going to try this now. Now what I'm going to need to do is I need, so route is not in our GitHub over here under security. So I'm going to do over here in GitHub app API. Where was it at? I've lost it. It is, I thought it was app API. Oh, it was the only file in there, so it's not gonna be there. Okay. All right, we actually don't need that for right now, so we can leave that. I'm not gonna go in and create those folders right now. We're not doing anything with security right now, but just know for right now that path is missing. App API, we need to create an auth directory, brackets, ... next auth, close the brackets, and then copy that route file into there. I'll show you a shortcut on how to fix that later. But at this point, we should have, oh shoot, let's just go ahead and do it. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it now. It's probably a mistake not to do it. So let me just do it. All right. So as you can see, I have app API. App API. This does not have an auth directory over here, so we need to create that. So I need to create a new file. I'm an API, and that file, app API, is going to be in an auth folder / brackets ... next auth, close out the brackets / route.ts. App API auth next auth, close it out, and then route.ts. Okay, perfect. And let me just see what the contents of this is here. Just going to open this with Notepad, route.ts, and this is all that this is, all of this trouble to get this little file in here. I'm going to copy this, paste it in here, commit changes, and we're done. So now it should be a perfect mirror for what we have running locally. Should be perfect. Should be absolutely perfect. Okay, now what we need. Now what we need to, so that is how you build it. That is how you do the initial push out to GitHub. So now what you have on GitHub is identical to what you have running locally. Every single file. Now we're going to need to keep them in sync. From here, I'm going to ask you to go to Netlify.com. Netlify.com. Create yourself a free account on Netlify.com. And we're going to log in over here. We'll log in. And once you log in, you're going to go to Add New Project. And you want to import an existing project. Add new project, import an existing project, and you want to connect to your GitHub. That's why we did all that trouble to deploy, to have a clean build, to push every file out to GitHub, because I know if it builds and works locally, I know it'll work when I try to put it in GitHub and deploy it through Netlify. It's going to ask you to, for you, you'll have to make sure that you configure and, connect to your GitHub. All right. Once you do that, then you find the repo, Teaching and Learning with AI, I think is what we called it. Yep, there it is right there. It's TypeScript. It was last updated 2 minutes ago. That's the right one. So I'm going to connect to this. I'm going to call this project Teaching. Oh, okay. Sorry. The project name. This is where Teach with AI. So you'll notice that this is where you'll get to have some control over your domain name. By the way, we can change this domain name later. But for project name, you put in whatever the project name is you want. You make sure that you want to deploy based off of the main branch in GitHub. Just keep the default. Notice there's the main branch. This is where all of my code is. That's fine. All of this is fine here. The build command, right? npm run build. That's why we did everything that we needed right there. .next, right? It's going to create your .next folder. You can see the importance of that. We don't have any environment variables. I'll show you how to add those later once we start adding security and things like that. But now let me click deploy. And it's going to go out to my GitHub. It's going to pull in every file that's in my GitHub. And it's going to try to build it. And then it's going to try to deploy it. And so now we just patiently wait. Remember, don't try this if you do not have a clean build in Windsurf. It just will not work and you'll be frustrated. So I'm going to pause the video while this starts up and tries to deploy. Okay, so I'm going to expand this so that you can see it. So you can see part of what it did was it went out there, it uploaded all of the files, right? It's going through now. It went through, it tried to initialize by connecting to my GitHub. All right, you gave it permission to connect to your GitHub. It did an npm run build somewhere in here. When it says building, it's all it's doing is doing it right here, npm run build. You already know what it's going to look like because you did this locally. So now that it did a clean build, now it's going to try to deploy. All right, and then it's going to do a little bit of cleanup, a little bit of post-processing over here. And it's telling me now that the site is now live. So if I go up here, I can open the production deploy. And you can see Teach with AI.netlify.app in this case. It has a full working copy out on the internet for your application here. Okay, so this application is, we've gone end to end. Now, whenever whenever you have, an update, you're just going to go out, update GitHub, make sure you do an npm run build, make sure it always works. You're going to update it over here. After you update it over here, then if you come over here to Netlify is going to grab whatever you updated in GitHub. It's going to automatically go through this process here and deploy it. All you have to do is make sure it builds locally and these files are in sync with what you have locally, and it will always go out here and update the deploy. So that's how you get started. Let me just mention a couple of things while I'm here. I'm in deploys now. I'm in deploys over here in Netlify. Just so you know, two things, not now, but when you're ready. Projects Teach with AI. If you go to domain management, once you buy a domain name, you can go to GoDaddy.com, get a domain name, add the domain name right here. Add a domain you already own, and then you can get, in my case, teachandlearnwithai.com or whatever you want, and then that would be the new domain name. That's all that you need to do to give yourself a custom domain name. That's one thing. The second thing that you're going to need to be aware of is that I'm going to go up here to project configuration, and in project configuration, if you scroll down in here, you'll see environment variables. Remember I said don't ever load your environment variables into GitHub. The environment variables, you're going to need to go here, and whatever you name those environment variables in your app, and we're going to go into this soon, you're going to need to go over here and add the variables here. I like to just import from a .env file, but I get that question a lot. Where do you go and add your passwords and your keys and all of that? It goes right here under environment variables. We didn't do any environment variables yet. We don't have any defined, so we're not going to do that yet. So in summary, I showed you how to do an npm run build. Just go through that process until you get a clean build, number one. I showed you how to do an initial push out to your GitHub. All right, and then I showed you how to go to Netlify and actually deploy it. And now it's automated. Now anytime you push anything out to GitHub, Netlify is automatically going to push it out, and it's going to automatically deploy it out here. And I showed you where you would go to fix this or create your own custom domain name. Okay, we are done with this one, and I'll see you on the other end.